What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. This morning I addressed the reports that were coming out that we could potentially see stimulus checks in this $748 billion stimulus package. Well, a few hours after I created that video, we get reports saying that yes, that Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, and Kevin McCarthy have all indicated that we are going to see stimulus checks. These are the reports. The reports are now coming out that all of our leaders have agreed that we will see anywhere between a $600 to $700 stimulus check. Now, we don't have all the details yet. We are still getting them very slowly. I anticipate we will see them probably sometime today, maybe tomorrow. So I just want to update you guys on what's going on and how this is ultimately going to affect not only this stimulus package, but any additional stimulus package we may see come January, February, or possibly even March. So let's get on with this update. First, it looks like this is going to happen. It looks like it's going to be a done deal. Many people are on board with a stimulus check. Maybe not to the amount of $1,200, but in some capacity. For example, about $600 to $700, many Republicans feel would be a good compromise. It's not $1,200 what Democrats wanted. It's not $0 what Republicans wanted, but if we can meet somewhere in the middle, about $600 to $700, that should do a lot of people a lot of good. According to these reports, the $600 is that amount is pretty much being pulled from that $916 billion stimulus package that Steve Mnuchin brought up to Nancy Pelosi about a couple weeks ago. So that's where the $600 is coming from. It hasn't really been stated that that's exactly what it's going to be. It could be anywhere between $600 to $700 is what reports are saying. But this would take the package from $748 billion up to $900 billion. We're a little bit under. Now, this is where many Democrats say we're coming in too low. We need to increase it. It has to be more. But many Republicans are saying, well, we were only hoping to do about $500 billion, so that's a little too high. I don't know if we're going to, vote on this. I don't know if we'll support this. But all indications as of right now are saying that most Republicans and most Democrats will support this so that it will pass the House and the Senate. And President Trump said, well, he hasn't said, okay, I don't want to put that out there, but the reports indicate that President Trump would sign it if there's a stimulus check. If it's under $1 trillion, President Trump will sign it. At $900 billion, President Trump will sign it as long as there's a stimulus check and everything else is good with Mitch McConnell and the GOP. So, who would get this $600 to $700 stimulus check? Well, again, we don't have all the details, but as of right now, we have a guess. Okay, I just want to give you pretty much who is expected to get this based off all reports. Right now, they are saying that it would most likely go to the hardest hit individuals, and those would be the same people that received the stimulus check last time. Which means if you're an individual and you file individually, you make less than $99,000, then you'd get a stimulus check in some amount. If you make under $75,000, you get a full stimulus check. If you are a couple, filing jointly and you make under $198,000, you'd get a stimulus check in some capacity. If you make under $150,000 per year, you'd get the full stimulus check. As of right now, it's also saying that stimulus checks would go to child dependents. That would be for $600. But there is one report out there, and I'm not going to say this is, I believe it, but there's one report out there that's saying that they want to double the stimulus checks for children, for dependents. Now, this report is also indicating, it's not saying, but it's, in my eyes, it's indicating that what they are alluding to is let's not give stimulus checks to adults, not just adult dependents. Let's not give stimulus checks to the adults, the filers. Let's only give stimulus checks to children. And we'd issue those stimulus checks to their parents. So, for example, I'll just use myself and my family, as an example. So myself and my wife, we would not receive a stimulus check under this report, under what they're saying. So it would be, let's say, $600 for adults or dependents. They actually want to double that. So exclude adults, exclude filers, and just give stimulus checks to children so that the families can actually, provide for their kids or something like that. So that's what the report's saying. Now, I'm not going into too much more detail, but for example, for myself, if they double it, it's $1,200 per child. My wife and I, we have 3 kids, so we'd receive $3,600 for our 3 kids, but we wouldn't receive anything for myself or my wife. Now, I don't know where this is really coming from. It's the first I've heard of this, but it seems like this is something that could happen because honestly, if you get rid of the adult filers and you double the amount for children, it would come up to about $150 billion. So it's all true. The numbers add up. But as far as how this would work, I don't know. I don't think this is a great option. I think they need to provide for those hardest hit individuals, which a lot of times are people that are single, individuals, not married, no kids. So we'll see where that goes. As of right now, it would also be, it's unknown, but it would most likely not include adult dependents. This has been one of the things that they've been saying for a while, is adult dependents would not be included in this. They've also been saying that people that owe back child support, again, would not receive a stimulus check. It would go to pay off the back child support, and then you would receive nothing for a stimulus check. And as far as the income threshold, like I mentioned, that's what's currently being reported, but they could change that. If they want to only provide for the hardest hit individuals, lowering that amount from $75,000 down to, let's say, $50,000, would do that. It would. I'm not saying that's a good option, but that would lower the amount that the Republicans would need to support. But at the same time, it also would lower the amount of the people that actually receive it, which I think more people need it at this time. So we will know more on this once a bill is finally produced. It hasn't been produced yet. It hasn't been released. We saw the bill that the Problem Solvers Caucus put out. It was a huge bill, but at the same time, we haven't seen it. It hasn't been actually released. So this is very good news that they're talking about stimulus checks, that stimulus checks are back in the mix. Like I alluded to earlier this morning, is stimulus checks are back. They're back. They're not going anywhere. They are back. In order to get this bill passed, stimulus checks will need to be included. I've been saying that for a while, that it's a high possibility. Earlier this morning, I was saying it's less than a 50% chance stimulus checks are included, but based off what we know now, hours later, things completely changed. And now stimulus checks are at the forefront. Now stimulus checks are probably about a 90% chance of passing, which is a good thing. Right now, there are more people in support of stimulus checks than are against them. So getting the stimulus package passed, not only through the House, but in the Senate as well, should be a done deal at this time. The only issue right now is that this bill has not been completely written. And I say this because this means it's going to take more time. What we know is this means that Congress will most likely need to work into this weekend and possibly into next week, which means there will most likely be a government shutdown. It will probably happen, the government shutdown will most likely happen Saturday. There probably won't be another 1 week stopgap bill or a few day stopgap bill. They will probably just shut the government down over the weekend and then hopefully get everything passed by Monday. That's the goal as of right now. Mitch McConnell said this morning that the leaders made major headway toward hammering out a targeted pandemic relief package that would be able to pass both chambers with bipartisan majorities. We agreed we will not leave town until we've made law. That is good news. We've heard him say this multiple times. We've heard Nancy Pelosi say this as well. So that is welcoming news that he keeps reiterating the same thing. We will not leave, which makes me think there's no way a stimulus package gets done by Friday. That's 2 days. Today's Wednesday, halfway through the day. So we got a little bit of today. We got Thursday, Friday. I highly doubt anything gets done in 2 days. And then they'll probably work over the weekend and most likely have this by law, or it will be a law sometime on Monday, but possibly go as far as December 23rd. I don't think they're going to work on Christmas Eve. They will not work on Christmas. The day after, possibly, most likely not, but that's what we know right now. Mitch McConnell also told his caucus to be prepared to stay past Friday to get this deal done. So he's not just telling the public, he's telling his caucus as well, be prepared because we're not leaving. I will not adjourn the Senate. Right now, a lot of people are very happy with the developments of this stimulus check and how it's coming back into the package. Everybody was a little upset when the package first came out. Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. I did a video midday Monday, and I wasn't extremely happy. A lot of people said, I didn't seem too optimistic. I didn't seem like I was very excited about the news and this press conference that the Problem Solvers Caucus had, and I wasn't. Even though I knew what was going to be in the bill, I had it all written down. I've seen it multiple times. I know what they were going to pretty much propose. But at the same time, I was very hopeful we'd see stimulus checks. We'd see more for different areas, and it just wasn't in there. So now I'm more optimistic that this deal is going to get done. Right now, this is not a done deal, but it's getting very close. Even Bernie Sanders weighed in on this morning. Bernie Sanders said 2 weeks ago, there was virtually no discussion about direct payments, so I'm proud of the progress that we've made. I'm going to continue to fight for more because people are in trouble right now and they need help. But it's a good start. It's exactly true. We do need more help. The American people need more help. But this is a good start. This is a good starting point. Let's start here and let's roll on it. Let's provide more. Let's make this the snowball effect. Let's keep it going, and we can finally get the economy back to where it once was and hopefully get the United States thriving again, because right now it's in trouble. We are in trouble. A couple reports out this morning are indicating that stimulus checks are good for not only this stimulus package, but wait for it, for the next stimulus package. Yes, they're already talking about not just passing this stimulus package, but all right, let's get this one done, and then we will roll right into the next one for the Biden administration, because Joe Biden wants more stimulus. Mitch McConnell has said this multiple times. We know the new administration is going to want an additional package, so why don't we just prepare for it? Why don't we just plan for that? Well, that's kind of what everybody's doing right now. Currently, and this is big. This is big. Currently, the 2 Republican senators fighting for a Senate seat come January 5th for this Georgia Senate runoff. The 2 Republican senators are saying that by increasing this package from $748 billion to about $900 billion, this is actually hurting their chances of being voted for. Right now, they are worried that by Congress including stimulus checks, this is actually hurting those 2 Republicans. Now, this could cause the state to pick 2 Democrat senators from Georgia during the Georgia Senate runoff on January 5th. If this happens, then the Senate would then be controlled by Democrats come January. If this happens, then the chances of getting more stimulus, a larger stimulus package, and something that Democrats and Joe Biden wants is seen as much easier to accomplish and more likely. So, this is why people are saying this stimulus package, by adding stimulus checks, could actually roll into a larger stimulus package in the future, and possibly a 3rd stimulus check. Yes, we're not just talking about a 2nd stimulus check now. Now we are talking about a 3rd stimulus check. We could see that we ultimately get a $600 stimulus check this time, and then being that it's probably not going to be enough, or it doesn't go out to as many people as they were hoping, then Joe Biden could come in and say, we need to get that 3rd stimulus check. That needs to get done, and we need to get it done now. So, this is something that we need to keep an eye on, because honestly, the Georgia Senate runoff is in 3 weeks? Today's the 16th, so yeah. It's very close. Was that 20 days, something like that? We're getting close. This is very close. This is something that could be a game changer for all stimulus negotiations moving forward, especially come January 2021. Now, again, this is not a done deal. This is getting very close. We are making progress, but even Chuck Schumer had this to say earlier this morning. It's not a done deal yet, but we are very close. For Democrats, this has always been about getting the American people the relief they need. The good news is that stimulus checks being included at this point, all it's doing is replacing state and local government funding. Now, maybe it's a bad way to put it. By saying all it's doing is replacing state and local government funding, I believe state and local government funding is needed. I think a lot of people are going to be affected. and there will be more layoffs if there's no state and local government funding. However, I feel that stimulus checks being included in exchange for state and local government funding, yes, it's going to impact a lot of people, but at the same time, I believe it's going to positively affect more people than the ones that negatively affects. So in this way, I think it's good, but I still think state and local government funding needs to be included and needs to happen fairly soon, probably before the end of this year, but we'll see if that actually happens. The good news right now is this package still includes rental assistance, food assistance, PPP funding, education funding, $300 per week in unemployment benefits, plus a 16-week extension on all the unemployment programs. And it's now throwing in a stimulus check, possibly between $600 to $700. That's good news to me. This is finally news that a lot of people have been waiting for. So I think this is a positive sign. We're moving in the right direction. Now, we just need to wait and see what our leaders decide to do when this bill actually comes out and when they vote on it. Many people were hoping that this would be voted on sometime tomorrow in the House. The Senate would vote on it on Friday. It would pass by Friday. There'd be no government shutdown. The bill would be ready to go. But by throwing in stimulus checks, it actually throws a little bit of a wrench into this negotiation. So we'll have to see what they do over the rest of today and possibly tomorrow as well. So as I know more, I promise I'll share more. I just wanted to bring you this update because this is very good news to a lot of people. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.